First of all, there is not one business in the world I would suggest going into with no experience or knowledge. Okay? Like, I feel like we're on the common sense team, right? Like, this doesn't seem like a good idea. So I apologize for the occasional traffic noise. I live on Main Street. I have a sound panel in the window that's immediately next to me. And I try to pick times of day to film where the truckers are not going by. But occasionally there is traffic noise, so I will do my best to mute it or otherwise de-emphasize it when I can. Hey everyone, welcome to a occasional series on this channel that I call Nicole Reacts, where I react to online gurus who talk about marketing. And today's subject is one that kind of overlaps my interest levels, and that is Kevin David. So I am somebody who likes to watch really dumb television. I do smart things all day. I make thousands of decisions. And when I come home, I want to watch other people make worse decisions than I did. I don't like the shows where people yell at each other. So I can't really do like Real Housewives or, I don't know, Road Rules when that was a thing. But stuff like 90 Day Fiance and Marrying Millions is right up my alley. So during the first season of Marrying Millions, there was a guy on there that looked familiar. And it turns out other people thought he looked familiar too. So Kevin David is this internet entrepreneur. He was on Marrying Millions, but you might have also seen him other places. If you're on like YouTube, you might have gotten served an ad about how he can make you thousands of dollars off of real estate, or he has a course to sell you or something like that. When you start typing Kevin David's name into the YouTube search engine, it autofills it with scammer as like the next word, which I think is a little bit telling. But yeah, so Kevin David apparently has a ton of money, and he was, I don't know, kind of a boring person to watch on reality TV, honestly. But we're all happy that Katie has moved on from this guy. But who knows? Maybe he, while being a terrible boyfriend, is a really great business person who has a lot to teach us about social media marketing. Who knows? So today we're going to watch this video. It's called How to Start Social Media Marketing as a Beginner in 2019. So it's good you put the date in the title. And so I'm not going to like make fun of him for not mentioning TikTok as an emerging platform or something. I'm going to, go back to 2019, Nicole, which I guess wasn't too long ago, and see if he has some kind of good nuggets. Because let's face it, while the tools have slightly changed, or maybe the approach, some of social media marketing's guidelines have been true for over a decade now, I can say. And if someone is getting started, I feel like I would give them very similar advice to what I would have given them in 2019. Like I said, there might be slight changes into what I would suggest posting or what websites I would use, but the principles that I would tell them and the general approach would be very similar to what I would say today. Let's see what Kevin has to teach us. Full disclosure, I just wanted to react to this guy's video, honestly, because he's ridiculous. All right. So as we see here, I don't know, Kevin, he looks familiar, right? And even if you haven't watched Marrying Millions, or even if you haven't seen one of his advertisements go by as you're consuming online entertainment, like he looks familiar, maybe like somebody you might know.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the Strongest Family on YouTube. If you're new here, my name is Kevin David. In today's video, we're going to be going over what a social media marketing agency is and why it's the #1 way to make money online right now if you have zero money to start. So if you want
to... Okay, I understand that how we make money versus what we're passionate about can be two different things, especially in this economy. I understand that. But suggesting a whole industry to somebody just because they have no money, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about this suggestion. I know there was a period of time where a lot of people, got into real estate, and then they got into social media marketing, and now maybe they're getting into crypto. There's just this whole group of people that is looking for the way to make the most money possible while doing the least amount of work possible. The reality is, a social media agency, like he's going to talk about here, honestly, it's kind of a full-time thing to do it. Um, I say this as someone who's been running a social media marketing agency for 15 years. Like, it's pretty full-time. It would be hard to do this kind of thing very part-time, and do it to the point where you could make, I feel like, a good amount of money. But let's see.
To learn why most of my students from all around the world are having absolutely crazy results using my strategies with social media marketing, then stay tuned because this is going to be a good one.
Gotta love a good trailer. This is like, now he can stand in front of us in a white t-shirt with a white background talking because he's given us this context with the trailer. I've got money. I know what I'm doing. I'm successful. You should listen to me.
The beautiful thing about social media marketing is all you need is 4
I guess he was wearing a black t-shirt.
total clients to make more than the average American makes per year. All you need is 4 people to say yes to you, and all of a sudden you're making more than the average American. And obviously the USA is one of the most affluent, richest countries in the world. With 4 yeses, you're all of a sudden making more than the average American makes in an entire year. That is the power of...
Okay, then tell us how much money the average American makes in a year. Like, you said the same thing. You need 4 clients to be making more than the average American. He basically said the same thing 4 times in the span of 1 minute. Why not throw out a number? All right, we're pausing and we're going to actually look up, and I'm going to look this up for the average salary of American in 2019 because that's when this video was filmed. Okay. So the average salary of an American in 2019, one source says 48,672, 1,000 says about 40,000. So we can say something around 45,000 is pretty average. All right, let's continue. So 4 yeses, and you are going to make at least $40,000 a year, according to this guy. So that means each client is paying you $10,000 a year. Okay, the math doesn't seem super off here. And I'll get into why if he doesn't get into it.
Social media marketing. And really quickly, before we get into what social media marketing actually is, I want to go over a question that I get all the time. Do I need experience and do I need money to get started creating a social media marketing agency? I don't know anything about marketing, Kevin. How can I make money creating an SMMA or a social media marketing agency or a Facebook ads agency or a digital marketing agency? It's all the same thing. And the answer to that question is you don't need any experience whatsoever, and you need literally $0.
Okay, first of all, there is not one business in the world I would suggest going into with no experience or knowledge. Okay, like, I feel like we're on the common sense team, right? Like, this doesn't seem like a good idea. What I would suggest that you do is, you could pick a couple of these things or do all of them. I did all of them, and I feel like it really set me up for success, but do with what you will. Now, I understand most of us cannot go back and get another degree. I have 2, one in geology and one in French, and I was not going to go back and get another degree in internet marketing or similar. What I am open to, obviously, though, is learning. And before I started going after my own clients, I actually built up a bit of a knowledge base and some skills. How did I do that? First of all, there's some free certification classes out there. So back when I was doing this, like in 2008, the kind of only one out there was HubSpot's online marketing certification. It's free. Basically, you go through the modules and then you take a test and then you pass it or whatever, and ta-da. Obviously, they emphasize their own tools, and no matter what course you take, whatever software platform set it up is going to kind of emphasize their own tools with their own approach. But if you take a couple of them, there's a lot of overlap, which is to say that clearly, this is a universal type truth. If these 3 different courses, whatever that I've taken, are all mentioning it. And like I said, there are other free ones out there now. You don't have to buy their software or anything, but it's good to at least get the foundations going. I'll put the names of some of the ones I've run into on my screen. Honestly, it's I've been doing this 15 years. I'm not saying I don't do the occasional sort of training about a specific topic. Like I might take, an in-depth thing about sort of advanced TikTok uh, advertising strategies or something like that. But in terms of a holistic, here's how you do marketing course, I think that taking at least one is a great use of your time and will give you the vocabulary words and the sort of structure of knowledge for you to, oh, I want to learn more about this or I want to learn more about that. It gives you kind of internet marketing in a holistic way. The second thing I would recommend you doing is setting up your own project. So you're your own first client when you think about it. And you can either set up like a website for this new agency you're thinking about creating, or if you're just like, I don't know if I want to go into marketing, you could, I don't know, create a 90-day fiance snarky website and Facebook, Instagram page. And you could use those tools, right, to experiment with the different things you learned in the internet marketing class and see what works and what doesn't. And basically, you give yourself some real world experience. And then the third thing I would do is look around in your community. There's a lot of nonprofits who want to do more marketing, but they can't afford it, and they're looking for either somebody to volunteer for. And you don't have to sign on forever. You can just be like, hey, I see you have a pet drive coming up um, at your animal shelter. I will do all the marketing for your pet drive. I'll set up the Facebook event. I'll whatever. You might ask them if you want to run ads for like them to give you some money so you can run ads or something. But I think most nonprofits would jump at the idea that someone would just take it over because that's secretly what they want. In particular, like I said, a smaller nonprofit doesn't necessarily have the staff or the bandwidth to deal with it, but they want it to happen. So if you do this for like 6 months, you've taken classes, you have your own projects going, and you're working on a volunteer basis on some, now you have a bit of a portfolio. Now you have some experience with which to approach starting an agency. I think starting with zero experience is not going to give your clients what they deserve, and it's going to give you a lot of anxiety. I've never even lied on my resume before because I'm so worried that if I put something on there, like if I put that I'm good at, I don't know, like I've used Adobe InDesign before, but if I would never put it on my resume because I would worry that I'd be in a job interview and someone would be like, hey, show me how you would do this in Adobe InDesign. And I wouldn't know how to do it. So unless I am like at least very proficient in something, it's not going on my resume. And so I think at least if you don't feel like you're proficient in these tools, you shouldn't be making people pay a premium price for you to use these tools on their behalf. All right. Dismounting from my soapbox and onward we go.
In your bank to get started creating a social media marketing agency. So before we actually get into how to find high ticket clients,
I agree, by the way, that you don't need much money to start. You clearly need like a computer, but you don't need a lot of money to start. I would say $100, you can buy yourself some web hosting and a domain name, maybe a box of business card. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if you had a little bit of money for some incidentals like that, wouldn't be bad. But I don't think you have to start with a ton of cash either. I certainly didn't.
to actually pay you every single month to run their ads for them, we want to talk about what an actual SMMA or social media marketing agency actually is. And
As someone who's run an SMMA for multiple, I have never once heard a fellow agency owner refer to our type of business as an SMMA. He's trying to make this a thing. It's kind of funny. It's not a thing.
at the essence, guys, what an SMMA is basically you run Facebook ads or Instagram ads or ads in general, right? We're going to focus on Facebook ads because Facebook ads are by far the most profitable type of advertisement on planet Earth, right? 2 billion.
I think at this time, by the way, Facebook did have Facebook Business Manager, which is where also you ran the Instagram ads. So I'm not really sure why he's excluding Instagram when I think at this time they're in the same. Hold on. I'm going to look this up. Okay, quick thing. So Facebook Business Manager, which was then called Facebook Business Suite, which is now called Meta Business Suite, I think, because, the rebrand. This interface to run ads has existed since 2014. This video was made in 2019. Now, it's important to know if you do use the Facebook kind of business manager, if you run ads there, you typically run them on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to exclude Instagram or even like do an A/B test where like you run this ad set to Facebook and this ad to Instagram, it's hard to kind of pull them apart. So I'm not sure why he's doing that here. I feel like it was a little easier a couple of years ago to pull them apart, but I'm not sure why he's excluding Instagram when you can take out ads using the same interface on the same at the same URL. And they're both basically owned by the same company and are similar platforms. But I'll be curious why he's pulling Facebook out from Instagram.
Monthly active users on Facebook. Instagram ads are absolutely crazily profitable, right? Instagram was just recently valuated at over 100.
I thought he said we were concentrating on Facebook. Now he's going Instagram. Okay.
$1 billion, right? Just a small portion of Facebook is worth more than most companies on earth, and Instagram ads are absolutely explosive right now. So we're going to be focusing on Facebook for the most part in this video, but social media marketing companies can also be Google ads, right? They can also be SEO. It can be a lot of different things, but we're going to focus on Facebook.
Okay, SEO is not ads though. Google AdWords is also where you can take out YouTube ads, so they share the same platform. Pinterest has its own ad platform, as does Twitter, as does LinkedIn. And as does TikTok, but obviously this is pre-TikTok kind of. So point being is like the fact he just threw SEO out there, which has nothing to do with ads, is okay. There's tons of other examples he could have used.
So what an SMMA truly is you find businesses, right?
All right. Every time he does that, I'm going to drink a sip of my coffee. If it was nighttime, I would maybe switch this, but we're going to have a little, okay. If you want to join with me, grab a bottle or a glass of whatever you want to be drinking. And every time he mentions this acronym that he made up as a thing, we're going to drink. Okay.
Find local businesses that don't actually specialize in marketing, and you take care of the marketing for them. Because what is one thing that all businesses need? New customers, right? All businesses want more profitable new customers to actually continue to pay them money so that they can, make a profit, right? That's what all businesses need. And so where you come into the equation is you actually do the marketing for these companies so that they can focus on their core products, right? Most local businesses like restaurants, dentists, lawyers, insurance companies, right? All these different types of local businesses that every major city has, they focus on what they do best, right? Dentists are good at making your teeth clean. Doctors are good at making you not sick, right? But they are not specialists when
this video feels like he thinks I'm stupid, but also like he's trying to be relatable. It's really interesting because I feel like saying you could have said this in like half the amount of words, but listen, I'm guilty of that too sometimes, but still.
When it comes to actual digital marketing. And as the world starts to change and become more and more digitally oriented, it becomes much more important to actually have an online presence, to have a Facebook account for your business, right? To appear in Google search, to have an online presence so that people can find you on Yelp, right? Every single day that passes, it becomes more.
Quick little sidebar here. So Google has pretty much overtaken Google reviews have pretty much overtaken Yelp and similar. See if I can find the graph when I'm editing this, because I've been trying to figure out for my clients like which review websites we're supposed to care about. Generally, obviously, it depends on the industry they're in. But if you care about Yelp, that's great. And if Yelp is a good source for some customers, that's great. But if you're just starting off and you're like, oh, is Yelp a thing? It might not be a thing.
More and more critical for businesses to have an online presence. And that definitely includes, and probably most importantly of which, is paid advertising to put your brand name and your business in front of potential customers. So another common question that I get all the time is, okay, how much are these businesses going to actually pay me to handle their social media, their paid traffic, and things like that? And the answer is most businesses, right, at the very bottom, this is kind of like the lowest, most conservative rate that you can expect, they're going to pay you $1,000 per month, right? So if you get...
No, they're not. They're not. I challenge Kevin to go to a local restaurant and say that you want to handle all their marketing for them for $1,000 a month. Now, I work at that $1,000 a month and more level at this point in my career. Um, and the people who can pay that are not typically local businesses. Local businesses might be able to pay like a $500 or a $600 thing, maybe, but $1,000 a month is an awful lot to ask of them. And if you don't believe me, call up 10 local businesses and tell them that you want to charge them $1,000 to handle their online marketing and see how many people say yes. You might get one and they might keep you for like 6 months and then be like, "Oh, we're good." I've run an agency in, for example, Bar Harbor, Maine. It's a small town of about 5,000 people, but in the summer, it gets over 2 million visitors. So you would think that restaurants there would be willing to pay $1,000 a month for, say, Google ad placements and things like that. I have tried to sell this, folks, and I could not sell it, even with, at the time, 10 years of experience doing this kind of thing. So if you think someone brand new can walk up to a restaurant and ask for that, it's not going to happen. Now, he's talking about larger cities. Maybe those people have more money. I've only really operated in kind of smaller markets. And like I said, my higher paying above $1,000 a month retainers that I have now, none of them are local businesses. I do still help local businesses. So they might either pay a lower price point and have me take care of part of their marketing. So, like, for example, they might just have us take care of the Facebook page, or they might pay for us to train a staff member to be able to maintain the social media accounts. And then we're just kind of on hand in case something goes wrong, to, come in and help them out. Um, I've also been paid to draft content for them that they can put out. Um, but yeah, they're not paying $1,000 a month retainer, I can tell you that. Sorry, Kevin, you're wrong here.
4 yeses. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you're making $4,000 a month or $48,000 a year. But the best part about an SMMA is that there's no traditional business expenses, right? You don't have to have an office building. There's no cost of goods sold. There's no inventory. There's no overhead, right? You just don't have traditional expenses that most brick and mortar or most businesses in the world actually have. Everything that you actually need to create a social media marketing agency, you can have up here in your brain, right?
You can be in all kinds of different verticals and have no overhead and not need an office and everything. If this doesn't speak to you, don't think that you have to do social media marketing to have this type of business. There's lots of them out there.
And once you have the knowledge, and once you're able to actually create ads and create traffic for these businesses and bring them targeted leads, then you become inherently more valuable to the market.
Yeah, a small business owner, if you say you're bringing them targeted leads, they're going to be like, "Okay, slick sales, dude." They want customers. They don't want leads. If I'm selling a car or a house, I don't mind a lead, but if I am selling $10 sandwiches, I want customers. I don't want leads.
And when that happens, right, all of a sudden, everything starts to change. One final question that I'm going to address really quick before we actually get into a little bit more content of actually how to find your clients and how to deliver results for them is, Kevin, how am I going to be sure that I'm actually going to be able to get new clients for these businesses? How do I know that I'm actually going to be able to produce results? And that's a great question, right?
Yeah, if you have no experience or knowledge, how am I going to make sure I'm not screwing these people over? I'm glad that a few people have the morals to understand that this is an important question.
But the thing is, most people don't know how to advertise on Facebook. So if you know even the basics, right? And the more you know, the better, and the more you can charge, and the more money you're going to make. But even if you know the basics, like custom audiences, lookalike audiences, how to install a pixel, right?
These are not basic things to most people. As we've established earlier, Facebook Business Manager, which is now, I guess, called the Meta Business Suite, has been around since 2014. Okay, so it's been around 8 years. I tell multiple people every single week that this exists, and I show them around the back end of this business platform that is attached to Facebook that they could be using to make pixels and custom audiences, like he's saying. And they're like, "Oh, I've never heard of that." So this isn't basics. If you're going to run Facebook ads, at least take a good Facebook ads class. I have one I recommend actually that I took. It's a little expensive, but it's good.
to retarget that pixel traffic, which is all relatively basic knowledge. And if you don't know what those things are, then make sure you head over to my channel after you watch this full video and check out my video on Facebook ads for 2019. That video is over an hour long. It has over.
Yeah, I might go look at this after and report back. I'm not gonna maybe I'm not gonna sit and watch the whole thing because yeah, but I'll kind of skip around and see if I feel like he's giving legit advice here.
1.1 million views, and it's going to teach you everything that you need to know from an introductory perspective to actually start your own social media marketing agency. So how do you actually find your first client who is going to pay you $1,000 a month? Well, one of the biggest problems is the chicken and the egg, right? To get new clients, most people ask you for a testimonial of your past clients. But how do you actually get a testimonial if no one will allow you to be their first client? So what I like to teach my students is to actually work for free. And I know that might sound strange to begin with, but that is the single best.
Yeah, and that's what I suggested earlier. But okay, he was getting to that and I was just a little ahead of him. Sorry, Kevin.
Way to get your foot in the door for people to start paying you. It's a very low risk to hire on someone, even if they're brand new. If you say, hey, my name's Kevin David. I just started a digital marketing company or a social media marketing company or whatever you want to call it, right? It's all the same thing, a Facebook ad agency, all the same thing. I just started, a brand new digital marketing company. I'd like to run.
He's really hung up on the terminology, isn't he? Yeah, he's really hung up on the terminology and these are all the same thing. Okay, then just pick one of them then. Say, I'm going to just use this term, but other terms people have used are online marketing, internet marketing, blah, blah, blah. Just say that at the beginning and then, yeah.
Your ads for
Keep saying
1
it.
week for free. And I'm going to get you some customers. And all you have to do is cover the actual cost of the ads themselves. You don't have to pay me a cent.
Yeah, they're still not going to want to. I'll say why later if he doesn't say.
For running your ads. No business in their right mind is going to turn you down, right?
Yeah, because they might turn you down because they have to give you access to their Facebook page and they have to connect your account to the account that pays for the ads. So yeah, there is some trust there that you're going to do a good job. So they might not want you as an unknown person to connect with their stuff.
Especially if they don't know anything about digital marketing. So if you actually go into that business and say, hey, I'm going to handle your digital marketing. I'm going to do it for free for a week. All you're going to have to do is pay for your ads and I'm going to get you a bunch of new profitable clients, right? Most businesses are going to say, okay. And the beautiful.
Okay. To be able to help a business get new profitable clients, you need to ask them a lot more questions before you walk in there and say, I'm going to take care of everything. How do they get clients now? How much are those clients worth? If it's a service type thing where, there's a consultation, like what's their closing rate? What's the average markup on their menu item? How much does an average table spend? Who are their best customers in terms of, geographic, sort of demographic information? What are their most profitable days or times? And what are times where they wish more customers would come in? If you're doing a good job running ads for people or doing marketing for people, you're asking a lot of questions. And so to walk in and say, I'm going to make you profitable is not only incorrect, but honestly, totally rude because you have to know something about the business to be able to make that claim with any kind of certainty.
The thing, guys, is if you know what you're doing and you actually start to deliver a few results, then that.
If you know what you're doing, and then at the very beginning of this video, he said I needed absolutely no experience. How are both of those things possible? How are they both possible?
Business is going to want to hire you on full time because it's the easiest decision in the world to hire someone who actually makes you more money than it costs to have them work for you, right? So if my
hire you full time, they haven't paid you anything. So they don't have an accurate idea of how much you cost. So yeah, they understand that they're paying for the ads, but they don't understand that they're paying you to do the placements and to make the audiences and to check the ads, and kind of turn off the ones that are spending too much and to they don't understand all that. So they paid you nothing and just to run the ads. And then they're going to be like, oh yeah, like we'll keep paying you nothing to run ads for us. Yeah. They don't know how much you cost yet.
Fee is $1,000 a month and I'm making your business $2,000 a month, that's a very, very simple decision. And so
You're paying me $1,000 a month and you're paying $800 a month in ad spend, and this is making your business $2,000 a month. He didn't count the ad spend in there, and that's a fair bit of it.
the best way to get your first testimonial, which is key because you can actually use that testimonial to get new clients, is
working for free for nonprofits on camp. Like I said, you don't want to be their social media for free person forever, but like do it around like an event or some other thing that has a set period of time. You can get testimonials that way too.
to work for free for your first few clients. You can get some experience, right? You don't have to actually cover any of their ad costs themselves. They cover that. You just work for free, right? So all you're doing is giving them your time for free. And once you do that, 1 or 2 times, then you can use those people as testimonials for all your future business. And the most beautiful part about social media marketing is if you know what you're doing, which of course you will, if you follow my,
which of course you will. But remember, you can start this business without knowing anything.
Instructions, as hundreds and hundreds of my students in my private group have done, then you're going to be able to deliver results. And when you can deliver results to local businesses and to small businesses, every dentist and every doctor in the world knows like 10 other doctors that they went to med school with. And all those doctors also need social media marketing. They also need digital marketing.
He's kind of pivoted here from like a local business to like a dentist. I feel like that's a good market to go after. If you're thinking about people who are willing to spend money on ads, you have to think about people who have a customer that has a relatively high value attached to them. So, like I said, if you're selling a house or a car or something that has a relatively high value, if you're providing services where you're making at least $100 when someone walks in the door, you have a lot more wiggle room to play with the ads. So, it's interesting that he's pivoted toward medical at this point.
For their businesses to get them new and profitable paying customers. And so a lot of the other people who teach, how to do SMMA always say, go out there and start cold calling all these businesses. I have never cold called a business in my entire life. I've paid phone teams to actually cold call, but it's never been.
I've never cold called, but I paid other people to. Okay, so it's like you did it then. If you're paying someone else to do it, that doesn't mean you haven't done it. It just means that you have not directly experienced it, but you have benefited from it.
As successful as just allowing my clients, right, the doctors and the dentists and the lawyers and the insurance companies that I'm running.
Doctors, dentists, lawyers, insurance companies. Those are a lot different than the florist, than the restaurant, than the looking down the street here at the businesses and the pizza place. The women's clothing boutique. Yeah. Just looking out my window here. The people he's mentioning here are a lot different. Yes, they're a local business, but the value of their products is a lot different than the examples he was using at the beginning.
Traffic for introduce me through referrals to their other friends and to other businesses. So what I say is, okay, doctor, you're paying me $1,000 a month. For every new paying customer that you bring me, every other doctor, dentist, every other small business owner that you know, I'm going to give you $500 off your bill, right? And so I'm making $1,000 and I'm giving them a $500 discount, and I have a new client who's going to bring me new referrals. So I think you guys, if you're smart, are starting to realize
wait, you take $500 off the monthly charge and then you're charging $500 a month, or you just give them $500 one time? I'm a little confused about that.
Just how incredible of a business model this really is. All you have to do is know how to actually find your first clients and then know how to deliver results. So let's jump into my computer right now, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can find your very first profitable client that you can use to go out and do your marketing for you and introduce you to all their small business owner friends, so that people are going to be literally beating down your door to pay you $1,000 every single month.
They're not going to be.
Jump into my computer right now and I'll show you. All right, guys, welcome into my screen. We are going to go over the 3 easiest, simplest, fastest ways to actually find your very first client, right? Because a lot of us have family and friends. And one of the best ways to actually do it is if you have a dentist, if you have a doctor that you have a relationship with that you've used for years, right? Ask them if they wouldn't mind you doing their advertisements for free. All they have to do is pay for their own ads. You'll do all of the work for free. And 99% of the time, if you have a dentist or a doctor or an
Again, they don't know how much the ads cost. They're still paying something, so they're still going to have questions. Just saying.
insurance agent or a lawyers that you've worked with or any small businesses in your community,
Insurance agents, lawyers, doctors, dentists. Think about the average value of each of their individual customers. And then think about how much money the average restaurant makes on, say, a takeout order. It's different.
that you have a relationship with, they're more than likely to say yes, especially if you actually know what you're doing and can deliver some results, which, again, after you've watched this full video, if you haven't, we're going to have a completely free training on how to actually deliver results to these businesses right here down in the description after the video. So this is the 3 easiest, best strategies to actually do this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to choose a random city, dentist in Las Vegas.
So he moved to Las Vegas with Katie and the Marrying Millions thing. And then I don't know, I think he moved to Florida or something, like pretty. So it's funny that he's still looking for a dentist in Vegas.
So we're going to ignore the ads right here. And we are actually going to go and open up all of these dentists right here. I usually ignore like Yelp because it just makes it a little bit harder, but you can actually use Yelp too. So what we're looking at right here is
Did he have himself, like a picture of himself as like the loading screen thing? We'll have to see if it happens again.
just like a random, oh, actually, this is a directory, so let's not use that one. So this is like a random dentist office in Las Vegas. And what this is right here, this is a little Chrome extension called Facebook Pixel Helper, right? So you can just literally Google search Facebook Pixel Helper, and you can see it right here. So you can just go in, download this on Chrome. Once you've downloaded it, it literally will tell you if any page that you visit on the web has a pixel, right? So we can see that this actual website has a pixel. So this company at least has a basic idea what they're doing from a Facebook advertising perspective, right? Because if they have the pixel, that allows them to be able to retarget people on Facebook. And so it's a very basic level of understanding.
Yeah, it might also mean they have someone else running their ads, but
so we're going to close this one out because they have a Facebook pixel, so they're not the lowest hanging fruit, right?
Yeah, they might already have an agency working with them if they have a pixel installed.
Right? They're not the best potential possible actual client for us, so we're going to close that one. We see that these people actually have multiple pixels, right? So maybe they have an agency already working with them, so we're going to ignore them too. But we see right here, right, that this company, or excuse me, this dentist does not have a pixel. If we use the Facebook Pixel Helper extension, it says no pixels found on LVS Smiles, right? And so what we can do is we can take this phone number and we can call them, or we can look for their contact information.
Take this phone number and call them.
Down below, right? Here's their Facebook, Instagram. We could message them on Instagram. We could give them a call, right? And we could say,
by the way, I manage social media for people, right? As part of my, and sometimes these people will be like, hey, we're a social media agency, and they message through Facebook, and I'm like, I'm the one managing their Facebook page. So it's like, I don't know. It's funny. I would just call them.
Hey, my name's Kevin David. I run a digital marketing company. I was browsing your website and I saw that you didn't have a pixel installed. I could probably, create a lot more profitable customers for you guys. And, I'm just.
To be clear, Facebook's not the only thing that has a pixel. You can add a pixel from pretty much anything. You can add a pixel from TikTok. You can add a pixel from Google. And basically, all of these different services have their own pixels. There's not like one universal pixel that will just work everywhere, sadly. But yeah, so if you want to retarget people on different social media sites, look into whether they have a pixel or not. And if they do, you can add it to your website. Now, if you do add a pixel to your website, you have to do a couple of things. Number one, you have to have what's called a cookies notice. And number two, you have to have a privacy policy that is published on every and accessible on every page of your website, which is why most people link it in the footer. I have a whole video about that, which I'll link here if you want to go watch it about exactly what that is and how to do it. I won't waste time here, but yeah, just know that pixels are not just a Facebook thing. He's saying you don't have a pixel, so you don't have a Facebook pixel. They might have other ones.
Starting out my digital marketing company, so I'd be willing to do it completely for free. I wouldn't charge you a single cent for my time, and I would just bring you guys a bunch of brand new profitable customers. And most people in their right minds are going to say yes, right? So when you actually call this number, though, you're probably going to get a secretary. So normally, what I like to do is I'll say,
He keeps going like this. It's kind of funny. I don't know if he's like, I don't know. Let's notice if he. I don't know if it's like a comforting, a subconscious like comforting gesture.
Actual resident dentist, right? Like trying to talk to like a decision maker rather than an actual secretary can just save you time. But a lot of times the secretary will pass on whatever you say to the actual owner of the business. And
yeah, and you know who's a jerk to the secretary is not going to be hired by the business owner. Just saying, the person who you're talking to on the phone, if you build a rapport with them, you can get a lot further. So like rather than trying to be like, oh, let me speak to your manager, why not talk to the secretary? Why not call a few times? Hey, this Nicole person seems really nice. You know what people aren't saying about this guy?
most of the time, they are going to be interested in what you have to say, right? And so that is a very, very simple way to actually find your very first client. Another extremely simple way is what's called BNI. So what BNI is Business Network International, right? So I'm just going to use the same example, BNI Las Vegas. What this is it's just a massive networking organization for business owners. So if you have a social media marketing agency, or you actually perform services for local businesses like running Facebook ads, like managing social media.
So quick thing about BNI, one of the main things about it is that the chapters are local. So, there's a BNI, there might be a BNI near to you. Obviously during COVID, I think they've sort of pivoted to virtual meetings, but usually it's an in-person type meeting. And there's only one business per industry allowed in the group. There's already a marketing person in the group and you show up and try to sell marketing, it's not going to work. But let's say I was a member of a BNI chapter and I was the marketing person and Kevin wanted to join our group. They might ask me, they might say, hey, Nicole, is, this Facebook digital agency, is this, oh God, what was the acronym? SMMA different enough to what you do? If I say, oh yeah, that's different enough to what I do. I only like post, organically to my clients' social media pages. I don't run ads for them. So it's up to the individual person who might have a conflict to say that they do or don't. So you can go, I think, up to 3 meetings as a guest to each BNI chapter, but just tread carefully because you don't want to piss off the person who's in there. Because if you piss off the person in there and they have a good relationship to everyone else in that group, and then they start talking smack about you, just be really respectful.
Media, BNI is an amazing place to actually go and get new customers, right? Find new customers. You go to these events and you just introduce yourself. Everyone's very friendly. Everyone's literally there specifically to network, right? And so all you
Yeah, that's different. I mean, I know you might be familiar with like Rotary or Lions Club or, I'm trying to think what the other kind of fraternal organizations are. BNI is set up specifically for networking. It's you show up, everybody gets a 60-second presentation, and that's it. Like, so the idea is that, you get really good at giving these kind of short pitches for these different products and services that you have, and over time people get to know you. So it is a bit different than, like I said, your local Lions Club or something like that. It is, however, more expensive to join than a typical like Lions Club or something like that as well. I think the last time I looked into it, dues were like $700 a year. But like I said, you can go as a guest. Obviously, you got to pay for your own lunch, but like you can go as a guest without joining up to 2 or 3 times before they'll start getting mad at you. But again, look up who the marketing person is in the group if there is one, and connect to them ahead of time and say what you want to do. And if they don't do that service, they're going to be super welcoming to you.
you have to do is go and network and say, hey, I run Facebook ads. You don't have to say that you're the best Facebook advertiser in the world, right? But say that, yeah, I started a digital marketing company recently.
Yeah, in general, don't lie about your abilities or accomplishments. Pro tip.
And I've been, having a lot of good results for my clients, if that's true. Or just, all you have to say is, I just recently started my social media marketing company. I'd be happy to set up an appointment to see if I could help your business, right? And this is one of the fastest, easiest ways that my students have been able to get a bunch of new clients, literally sometimes in a day. And if you get 4 people, right, if you network and go for an hour, you could easily talk to 4 people, 15 minutes each. And if all 4 of them say yes, boom,
So he's clearly never been to a BNI meeting. Okay.
instantly, you're making more than the average American is making. 4 people to say.
I know they do have mixers though. Like, so the regular weekly meeting is in that kind of rigid format I was telling you about. Maybe they do have mixers that are like you walk around and talk to people.
Yes, using BNI. And the third strategy that we're going to talk about is just using Facebook, right? Literally going on Facebook into the normal search bar and typing in dentist Las Vegas, right? And then we went over here to pages, and I would open up every single one of these pages and I would message them, right? I would look and see if there's anything that I think that they could do. So
is that him or is that somebody else? Okay, the picture where it's like it's black and then the it looks like a pencil drawing in white that is like the loading page. Is that him or is that somebody else?
So, all of these people probably have websites. You can see Dentist of North Las Vegas. We didn't see this one, right? So I would go into this website and I would see if
it looks kind of like Pete Davidson too. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
They have a pixel, right? They do. I could still call them if I
imagine if you had a sketch of yourself as your loading screen or as your lock screen on your phone or something.
I wanted to, but I would go through every single one of these. I would, send them a message. I would go and check out their website, and I would literally send them a message saying, hey, I run a digital marketing company. I run a social media marketing company. I'd be happy to run your ads completely for free just to show you that I can give you results. So it's 0 risk on your part, and I can just literally deliver completely free value. And 99% of businesses say yes, right?
It is him.
Right? So those are 3 extremely profitable actual ways to get your very first client, right? And doing it for free to get your first testimonial. Then all of a sudden you have testimonials, and it's much easier to get new clients because you have testimonials. And all of a sudden your current clients are actually
his Snapchat handle is Kevin Hustle.
Introducing you to all of their other small business owner friends. And all of a sudden you have a ton of new clients that are paying you $1,000 a month or more. It's
of course, he's a white guy with a podcast.
One of the beautiful parts about a social media marketing company is you can charge $1,000 a month, maybe for the first 4 people that you work with. Then the 5th person, you charge $2,000 a month, right?
No one's going to pay, like, no one's going to pay you that right off the bat. They're just not.
Literally charge whatever you want to charge. If you only want 5 clients,
you can't charge whatever you want to charge. There's what the market will bear.
then maybe you charge $1,000 for the first person, $2,000 for the second, $3,000 for the third.
Yeah. Or, I can decide to like build websites for $1 million or $2 million. Like, no.
Right. I've had clients that I was charging literally $20,000 a month to run their actual ads for. And
had clients. So what? They signed you on because of your, large social media following for a couple of months, realized that you were all fluff, and then fired you, maybe? I don't know. It didn't last forever. He's talking about it in the past tense here.
Obviously, these are larger businesses, and it was after some experience. But the point is, guys.
Yeah, larger businesses after some experience. And I also have not quite that high of a retainer, but like a business who pays me a fair bit of money per month on retainer to do stuff like that. After, 15 years, I do.
It's supply and demand like any other business. And it's a very beautiful thing that as you start to get more clients, you literally become more valuable and your time becomes more valuable. So you can
he does this chest thing. It's so, I don't know what that means. I'll have
either
to
hire people to help you run those ads, or you can charge more for your time. So as you guys can see, it's literally such a good opportunity to create a social media marketing agency. Literally with those 3 introductory strategies, you can get started. And I want to show just a couple of my students who've had such ridiculous immediate success. This right here.
Ridiculous immediate success.
Here is John, and he's literally, we're just gonna listen to him for like the next 10 seconds. He's one of my favorite students. In the first week he ever started trying to create an SMMA, right, his social media marketing agency, he had tremendous success. So let's listen to him really quick.
What's up, ninjas? Just left the dentist office. Found out he's got not only one location, but two. Presented the Facebook ads just like Kevin's got in the course. I had went out to their Facebook page and their website and got some pictures. So went through the Facebook ad, then I showed them how the ClickFunnels worked, showed them the demographics, the people we were going to target. They loved the idea.
I hate it when people film when they're driving. Don't film while you're driving. It's not safe.
Gave the value of the ClickFunnels of $2,000. I gave the value of creating the ad set of $497 and a monthly retainer of $1,000 for each office. Waived the ClickFunnels fee and waived the ad set fee in order to collect the 1 month retainers up front. Fired up.
Or just really quickly, we can talk about
Yeah. Ugh. And I love that he was in this like wrinkly gray t-shirt too. Like, dude, if you're gonna go present in real life, like, you know, look like you care.
Who made over $11,000 profit in 3 days using what we teach inside of my private group. Guys, I want to show just one more. This is Andrew. He literally very recently worked at a hotel, and you can see right here in the screenshot, he's getting absolutely tremendous results for his client's Shopify store. You can see him saying right here that he has 11 clients now, and that is a minimum of a $1,000 payment every single month per client. So he's making at the minimum $11,000 per month. So if you want to learn exactly how Andrew started to make $11,000 per month with zero experience and zero money to start, we are hosting a completely free training. And if you want to join that training, all you have to do is click the link in the description right here. And we're going to teach you.
He said he taught hundreds and hundreds of students in his group. He has 2 examples of people who made money.
Some much more in-depth strategies on how to get started running Facebook ads for local businesses and getting paid very, very well to actually do exactly that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, because I'm working extremely hard to put these out for you guys and show you a bunch of new ways to actually start making money online. Click the like button right now. Leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts on creating an SMMA or running Facebook ads for local businesses and using that as a way to make money. And as always, guys, if you haven't, make sure you click that little subscribe button right here. Turn on the notification bells to join.
So what have we learned from our friend Kevin David here? Well, we've learned that you can start an SMMA without any experience or money. That's interesting. But we also learned that you need to get experience to be able to get clients, so you will have to do some work for free. We've learned that if you understand how to run Facebook and Instagram ads, that businesses will pay you $1,000 a month retainer to run those ads for them. We've learned that if you show how you get them new customers, that these businesses, after you work for them for free for a little while, will happily pay you $1,000 retainer. And we've learned to get new clients, you can use Facebook search, you can use Google search, and you can see if their websites have remarketing pixels already on them to find good potential clients. All right, so I just went and looked at Facebook ads for beginners in 2022. I Googled the Facebook ads for beginners, Kevin David, to try to find the course that he was mentioning in the video, but it looks like he's updated it. It's funny because it says Facebook ads for beginners 2022, but it was uploaded in 2020. So I'm not really sure what that's about. Maybe he's replaced the video that was there with the 2022 version. Maybe that's why it came up for me in search. So does Kevin David know what he's even talking about? After perusing the Facebook ads for beginners video that he referenced, which looks like it's been updated in the past little while, I would say he does seem to know what he's doing. He does take you through the back end of setting up the ad. He does show a few tricks like looking at page transparency and things like that. So he does seem to know what he's doing when he's talking about ads. What I don't like about this video is it gives people a false sense of what they can accomplish, both in terms of how much they can charge a small business for running ads and in terms of being able to get those businesses really good results right away. Neither of those things is really true. Now, if you do want to go after the people who could pay you $1,000 a month, I don't blame you. You have to look at the kinds of clients where their customers are relatively high value. Like he was saying, dentists, plastic surgeons, insurance companies, these kind of places. I know for example, my small business insurance, I think I pay $600 a year. So if an insurance agency acquires me, I'll probably keep paying them $600 a year for my business insurance forever. So I'm worth at least probably $10,000 to them. So they are willing to spend some money to acquire me. But if we're talking like restaurants and retail stores and all that, if you approach them with $1,000 a month retainer, not including ad spend, they're going to pick their jaw up off the floor, because in reality, that's probably their entire marketing budget. And their customers are not worth $10,000 a piece to them. They're worth a lot less. There's more of them and they're worth less, so they cannot spend as much money acquiring them. And yeah, the other thing is he seems very confident in people being able to get results for their clients right away. The thing is, and what I learned in the class that I took, which I thought was really good, is that you're going to get better results over time, but the first ads you're going to run are not going to necessarily be amazing in the results department, especially if it's a brand new ad account and like a relatively new business. You know, you're going to be just trying stuff, and you're going to try a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily work really well. Obviously, you need to evaluate sooner rather than later what isn't working and change it. But until you try it, you don't really know what's going to work. If there was one thing that worked for everybody, I would just tell them to do that. And I would lie on the beach with my $1,000 bills that I was collecting and not do anything. The reality is that different things work for different businesses, and that the first ad sets you're going to run are not going to be probably immediately profitable or impressive, in particular if this is a new industry to you. I get that being realistic is not going to sell as many courses for Kevin David, but you have to work with businesses almost like a partnership. You need to understand their numbers and how they're currently getting their customers, and they have to understand and trust what you're doing on their behalf online. And you both have to be flexible in how that's going to work, because the reality is, like I said, you're going to have to try usually a few things. You might find something that works really well for a while. The algorithm changes, and suddenly that little thing that you built, the little ad set that was getting them all these clients, isn't working anymore, and you have to retool and start again. So if you want to learn from Kevin David, that's great. I think he's kind of a douchebag, but he does seem to know how to run a Facebook ad, so I'll give him that. He seems to pretend to know about a lot of other things like real estate investing and stuff, and cryptocurrency and whatever. So when someone is that general, I get a little suspicious. But he does seem to know how to run a Facebook ad, so I will give him that. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you have a guru you want me to cover, or a certain video you want me to watch and react to, you can leave it in the comments. Otherwise, good luck starting your SMMA, and I will see you next time, hopefully. Take care.